And here we go. Smash This Podcast is live. Yes, folks, we're back. JAYBONE here. Kicking off what should be an interesting discussion going into this Royal Rumble weekend. Joining me tonight is Mr. CM Styles. How the hell you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. You know, it's been a great week so far. Really good SmackDown over the week, and now we got one more show to talk about, and that's the Royal Rumble.
Hell yeah, man. There's so much stuff going on this weekend. Hopefully Highspot Harry will be joining us in a little bit. Before we get into the actual Royal Rumble stuff, I'm just going to touch on a couple of odds and ends that's all happening this weekend that I'm hopefully going to be doing reviews for somewhere within the next week. And I've talked a little bit about this before, that being, doing Smash This Podcast and looking for different things to review, and I have a subscription to Flow Slam. This weekend, Evolve has what looks to be two very good shows. I believe it's 76 and 77 are the numbers of the shows that they're putting on, and what makes them unique and special, besides all the matches are generally pretty good, and I'm still new to Evolve, and I'm learning who's all on the roster and everything. But one particular individual who is having his last matches in the independent scene for Evolve this weekend is none other than Chris Hero, aka Cassius Ohno, who recently rejoined the WWE/NXT. Well, NXT, and that news came out during the tapings. What was that? Within about 2 weeks ago, whenever that was.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. In fact, that was one of the last videos I did before I had my surgery. So, yeah, I'm going to be watching that. I don't know if I'm going to be watching them live, but I'm definitely going to be watching that this weekend, and there'll be great shows. Chris Hero is going to be, let's see. The first show, he's going to be fighting a brand new guy that they just signed, Keith Lee. He was also, I know him from Ring of Honor. Yeah, he was part of, and I can't even think of the damn tag team. So I don't even know if he's part of Ring of Honor anymore, or if he's just part of the Evolve roster now. I'm not real sure exactly how that's all going. But nonetheless, it's his debut for one of Chris Hero's last matches. And then the one Saturday night is Chris Hero versus Zack Sabre Jr., which is sure to be tearing the house down. That should be a tremendous match. So that'll be some interesting shows to catch if you're if you're not the biggest WWE fan, or if you're just looking for something different, something new and exciting in the world of really good wrestling. By all means, folks, it's not in everyone's budget, but do consider joining Flow Slam. They are getting new shows to their ever-growing website all the time. They've got Evolve. They've got what's that one out of Florida? FIP. They've got Shimmer on there. So many others out of the UK. I can't think of all of them right now, but they've got it's nonstop growing. It's like every week they're announcing new stuff going on. So by all means, go check that out if you're a diehard wrestling fan. Also coming up this weekend, NXT has a big show the night before the Royal Rumble, San Antonio, Texas. That is going to be one hell of a card. I'm sure not all the matches are going to be 5-star matches, but it does look to be a good show. I'm personally vested in the four-way that is going to be Asuka defending her championship against, was that Peyton Royce, Billy Ray, or not Billy Ray, what's her name? Dang it, now I got to go look it up. Nikki Cross is the other one. Is that right?
I believe so.
I hate that when it's like, okay, I've been, watching this, catching up on this, and then I have a senile moment. Billy Kay. Oh my God. My apologies. Billy. What did I say? Billy Ray? Jeez Louise. I'll just keep that page up there for mental notes. Yeah, that four-way between the four women is going to be absolutely sick. The confrontations have been becoming more and more physical the last few episodes of NXT. Especially that psycho Nikki Cross. Jeez Louise, man. She is just nuts. I don't have any formal predictions as far as who's going to win. I'm just really looking forward to the event overall. The NXT TakeOver specials usually are pretty damn good. The headliner, of course, Bobby Roode against the NXT champ Shinsuke Nakamura. Man, this I think is a first. I don't think these two have ever faced before. Some of these guys that have come in, like the bigger names, you've heard about some of them facing off before on the independent scene. This, I think, is another first. So this should be a good one. I don't know. I've got a feeling that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to retain on this one, though, if I do have to make a prediction. Let's see. What other matches are on there? The tag team match should be darn good. DIY going up against the Authors of Pain. That should be a absolute tremendous match. And joining us is someone slightly under the weather. Dude, I'm so glad you could join us. It is Mr. Highspot Harry. How the hell you doing, dude?
Oh, I'm just lovely. Hang on. I'm trying to let's see. I'm doing good. Just had to stop and get some meds to try to kick this little flu thing I have. So sorry I'm a little late.
Oh, dude, it's okay, man. It's all good. I'm just glad you could join us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And sorry my videos keep going weird. I'm trying to do something here. I'll be with you in a minute.
That's fine. That's fine, dude. There we go.
All right, now I'm good.
All good. Okay, so I was just touching on I first was talking about the Flow Slam events that are going on this weekend. Chris Hero's last matches in the independent scene for the Evolve shows. I think I lost your audio there. It says you're muted.
I'm here.
There you go. Okay. Now you're there. All right. So any thought, I don't know if you've caught any of Chris Hero's stuff lately in any of the Evolve shows?
No, I really haven't, honestly.
No? Okay, that's fine. But yeah, like I said, nonetheless, he's got his last shows on the independent scene. It should be a hell of a weekend for him. And then I was just touching on the NXT card briefly. Have you caught up on any of that stuff recently?
I know what's going on, but NXT I've kind of fallen off of within like the last month or two. I'm trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
There's so much, man, and
oh, I know.
But no, I know what's going on. I followed the Asuka storyline pretty good. I know about Nakamura and Rude and the tag title matches. I mean, I know what's going on. I just really haven't seen everything. You know what I mean? A couple episodes I missed here and there.
Yeah, I binge watch NXT. I'll catch like 3 or 4 episodes at once, and I'll spend like an afternoon catching up on them. In fact, yesterday I was watching the last 2 in a row. So, but yeah, how they've done this feud, especially with the women's 4-way and the Rude Nakamura feud, has been really good. And the soundtrack that they've got going along with this event, they always pick some pretty cool up and coming like hard rock, heavy metal. Sometimes it's something a little out there, but some interesting stuff going on there. Care to make any predictions? I really haven't made any like formal predictions on the NXT card, but do you have any other thoughts before we get into the other meat and potatoes of this weekend?
I think I'm just gonna stay out of that one just because I'm not fully caught up to it. You know what I mean? I don't like to just kind of put it out there for no reason. So.
Oh, that's fine. So what you're saying is Tyler Rex is not going to make a formal comeback and go after the championship.
No.
Okay. All right. Now that we got that out of the way. Who? I just had to throw that little goofy name out there from the past. All right. So if you have been under a rock, then you might not have known the huge news that came out literally just a few hours ago. I was writing down some notes, just, figuring out what we're all going to discuss and touch on for tonight's show. And just going through Twitter real quick, and boom, hits me square in the middle of the forehead. Still going to have to explain that one to my wife when she gets back into town. No, it's not that bad. The big news coming out of Dave Meltzer's office, courtesy of him and his team, had a very significant interview this afternoon with none other than Kenny Omega. And yeah, man, this I've heard everything under the sun from, yes, he's showing up, no, he's not showing up, to other opinions of what he may be involved in if he wasn't in the Rumble. As in, he could show up for one of the matches, like during the John Cena AJ Styles match, which I found to be a very interesting scenario. I want to get your guys' opinions on this. This news that came out that Kenny Omega is staying in New Japan, and he is not, I repeat, not coming to the WWE. What do you guys think about this? Anybody?
All right.
I was gonna let him go first. I'm trying to be nice.
Hey, man. It don't matter if I speak first or last. It doesn't bother me one bit. But all right, I will take the stand on this one. Kenny Omega coming into the WWE would be huge, just like AJ's debut, at the Royal Rumble this time last year. To see him either get involved in the match between AJ Styles and John Cena or being a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble would maximize that crowd capacity. Half of them wouldn't know who he is, but the other half, basically the IWC, would mark out, and the rest of the crowd would end up following it because, the crowd likes him. We might as well like him too. And they'll have no clue who he is. But, on the other side, there's that possibility where he may not show up in the WWE and he might do another year or two in New Japan, because I believe he said that, in February, he might be signing a deal there. So he's really pulling out a swerve on what may or may not happen.
Well, it's interesting that he actually came out and said that he is, basically a free agent right now, and that he has not signed yet. He hasn't signed with anyone, is from what I'm gathering. But the fact that he came out and said that he is not, it's too, it may sound petty, but there's two very important factors here. Number one, he is not going to be part of the Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble match. Number two is that he is not going to be at the event, which is why I said that other factor of, oh, maybe he'll be a part of a match if he's not part of the Rumble. Highspot Harry, what do you think about all this? What's your opinion? Are you happy for Kenny Omega, staying with Japan, or are you upset about this? What are your thoughts on all this?
I think the best thing for him right now is to just stay in Japan. This is cool. This whole thing, Cena posted him on Instagram and all this talk he's getting about him and buzz around him and everything like that. That's great for him. But I just think, especially this year with the Rumble, as stacked as it is, an AJ Styles or a Kenny Omega surprise entrant, I don't think would hit home as much as it did last year with AJ. When you got Goldberg, Lesnar, Taker, Orton, all these guys, in the Rumble, yeah, he would definitely get a good pop, but I just don't think it would resonate the way it should for him, and two, I just think he's better suited. He's young enough for just another year or two in Japan, just to keep rising the way he is, and then come into WWE. That's just the way I look at it. But he's definitely making waves, and he's starting to become somewhat of a household name for the hardcore fans and even some of the casual fans now after all this buzz and everything like that. So, I mean, I would say it's a matter of time. I think he would fit better in NXT. That's just my personal opinion, at least to start. But I just don't think it's going to happen this year. I just think he's better suited to just keep doing what he's doing in Japan, because from what I hear and from what I see and read, I mean, he is a megastar in Japan. He's right up there with Tanahashi and all those other guys. So just keep riding maybe for another year, and then make a big splash in WWE.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his rise in that company over the course of the last 2 years. First of all, when he came in as like one of the juniors, and then after that first year of making such a big splash as he did, and then turning on AJ Styles and like the exiling of him from A, the Bullet Club, and B, from New Japan, in a sense, was kind of like that was like his exit, like kicking him out, like, hey, I'm taking over. And it just grew from there. The whole now I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I watched all the matches, but I casually kind of like watched what he was doing. I heard about the G1 Climax tournament and all that kind of stuff, and how he really started turning heads. And the fact that more and more people from the US and worldwide are starting to get the New Japan Network, or whatever they call it, New Japan World, or whatever. It's the WWE's equivalent of the network. And watching more and more stuff of the Bullet Club, the Elite, what have you, from that significant group that he's been a part of. And man, and I watched Wrestle Kingdom live. That crazy ass event that was like, was it 2:00 in the morning? Oh my God. And I have to say, I don't know if I give it 6 stars like Meltzer, but that has got to be, I'll say it's one of the best matches I've ever seen between Okada and Omega. And just the attention that he's gotten from that event has really driven up his worth in the world of wrestling. He has so many more eyes on him now. Tens of thousands of people have joined that New Japan Network to just, follow him now and just everything else that's going on. And I give him a lot of credit for staying. He could have done the easy thing and done something, made a big splash in the WWE, come in, really turn some heads. But the fact that he's finishing his business in New Japan, and I know he wants that championship from Okada, and I'm guessing that's going to happen sometime this summer, if I had to take a guess. And to help that brand of New Japan grow worldwide, because they're supposed to be coming over to the States for X amount of dates and really, growing worldwide. So that's going to be interesting. A lot of people are going to be following that. And that's only going to build his worth as a worldwide, worldwide superstar. They use those words once in a while, but certainly, if he's, considering then maybe after this year joining the WWE. So
his credit, he took over AJ Styles' spot, and he did it very well. You know what I mean?
He did.
That's not an easy feat. So
no, and then even trying to get a more of an audience. Starting the Elite YouTube channel, which I do follow. And if you want some interesting little road stories, some little humorous things, you get a little bit of everything on there. Comedy, a little bit of wrestling, road tales, stuff from Japan, stuff from the US, going back and forth. By all means, go check that out. That YouTube channel also had the announcement that came out right after Dave Meltzer's interview with Kenny Omega. So yeah, unfortunately, that is one name we can scratch off the list as far as not being in the Royal Rumble this weekend. But nonetheless, we're still going to be following him close here on Smash This Podcast, and can't wait to see, when he officially resigns. We're assuming somewhere within the next month or two. And then jumping back into the swing of things with New Japan. Now, I want to talk about, before we start talking about more, like the card of the Royal Rumble and stuff this weekend, I want to talk about another significant name that has been on the lips of pretty much everybody and anybody discussing things going on this weekend. Mr. Kurt Angle. Number one, being the first name of this year's Hall of Fame, being, what is that, the night before WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's Saturday.
And headlining it, we're assuming. He came out, was it a couple days ago? It was a TMZ interview / report, whatever, one-on-one. Someone talking to Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle saying that he is not going to be a part of the festivities of this weekend's Royal Rumble. I want to get your guys' opinion on that as well. Do you think he's BSing us or do you think it's legit, as in that's all the WWE has in mind this weekend for,
Well, first off, congrats to Kurt Angle for making the Hall of Fame, for his, 7-8 years he was in the WWE. Yeah, it was a great run, and he put his body on the line. Not only that, I mean, he was wrestling with a broken freaking neck every time.
Yes, that broken freaking neck. Yes.
I mean, come on, I was going to throw that out there. And then, of course, after his time was done there, he went to the other company and worked there for quite an amount of time, and now he's returning home. As for showing up at the Rumble, I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually a surprise entrant, but he gets eliminated once he gets in there, probably about 5-10 minutes worth of time. give a few angle slams and maybe one ankle lock and then get tossed right over. And that would be it for his career. But I in the words of Aaron Rift, highly unlikely that it's really going to happen. So, yeah, I don't see him exactly making any type of impact in the Royal Rumble. But it'd be great if he does show up in it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's about a 50-50 shot with him being a surprise entrant in the Rumble. You know, everything I've read and everything I know about Kurt is he's banged up. You guys know that. And as much as I'd love, Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle rematch, you know, the way they worked back in the day at WrestleMania, I forget what Mania that was. I just don't think with the strict policies they have in WWE that we're going to see a Kurt Angle. So with that being said, I think this is the only opportunity we would have to see him in a ring in any kind of aspect in WWE. So, well, I know for a fact he had a booking this weekend on Sunday that ended up getting canceled, or he switched it or something like that, and he's not coming anymore. So that could be saying something.
Yeah, he was going to be doing a play-by-play for I believe it was some UK wrestling company. I could be way off on the location, but yeah, he wasn't wrestling. It was just going to be doing play-by-play. Oh no, it was the debut of the 5-Star Wrestling out of the UK.
Okay.
They have Drew Galloway, Johnny Mundo, Carlito, Rey Mysterio. It's quite the loaded bunch of guys that are supposed to be on that, and it's their debut in the UK on the Spike TV network, not in the States. You know, where TNA was used to be broadcast, which I was excited about that for a bit, and I found out it was just overseas and not over here. I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, nonetheless. But that's where he was supposed to be, and I guess they pulled him. So yeah, just the fact that they pulled him throws up a big wondering.
Makes you think about it either way, but like I said, I think this is it. If he's going to do anything, I think it's going to be the Rumble. I agree with what Styles said. I think I don't really see it happening, but at the same time, you never know, you know.
Yeah.
But if they're not going to clear Daniel Bryan, from everything I know and have been told, Kurt Angle's neck is even worse than Daniel Bryan's. So I don't think we're going to see a Kurt Angle match. But I don't know. You know, maybe we get him in Rumble, or maybe we just get him in a backstage segment, you know, something like that, or a surprise kind of promo, something. I don't know. But I think it's 50-50 at best with him being involved at all.
Yeah, I think the odds are against him. And it's really hard to tell exactly what kind of relationship they have. It's usually all after the fact, after something big happens, and you start hearing the little thing, like for example with Sting. After Sting debuted, then you started to see and hear about all the little backstage meetings, the little videos of, you know, walking into the WWE headquarters for the first time, you know, all that kind of cool little stuff. We haven't heard about any of that yet. So, yeah, I'm not putting I'm taking what Kurt said with a grain of salt, and yet at the same time, I'm not psyching myself up for it. That's the one thing I really try to not do with a lot of these shows lately that way. You know, if he doesn't show, all right, you know, there's still an absolute crap ton of talent that's in the Rumble, and that's fine. And if he does show, great. You know, I can't wait to see the crowd pop, the crowd reaction, and to see exactly where it goes from here. We'll have to wait and see. So, and as far as surprises, before we get into the card, is there anyone that you are looking forward to possibly seeing, a rumored name, you know, whether it be well, I should say a legend because not all of them are legends. But so a blast from the past or a debut. Is there anyone that you guys are looking forward to seeing in the Royal Rumble match itself that isn't already part of the, oh God, what is it, 22 guys that's on the poster so far?
So off the top of my head, I'd still love to see Jake the Snake. I know he kind of set a goal out there to get in the Rumble to be kind of his last hoorah a couple years ago, and they didn't prepare him for it. But he's been clean for a long time now, so I'm a big Jake the Snake fan. So that'd be cool to see him just come in and DDT and get out of there. I'm really hoping Samoa Joe's in this deal. The writing's kind of on the wall that I think he's getting called up. I hope at least, and hopefully go to SmackDown because I really think they could use the hell out of him there. So I'd love to see Samoa Joe come in.
Yeah,
and I'm sure we'll get into it later, but I think Finn Balor is definitely a big possibility that he's going to be returning from injury to this thing. So those are the three off the top of my head.
Yeah, interesting about Jake that you mentioned, Jake the Snake Roberts. He actually made an announcement a day or two ago saying that he was, or first of all, he said some blanket statement that the Royal Rumble was like a really great event and that he was going to be in San Antonio, Texas this Sunday night at a comedy club right across the street from the Royal Rumble. So it's like, oh wait. So, I think there is a possibility that he could be a part of it. I don't know exactly what all the details and when the comedy gig is.
Right.
So, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. I think that's on his Facebook page if you want to go check that out. Something kind of funny to go see. Styles, what about you, man? Is there anybody that's standing out for you? Any big question marks? Any mysteries?
There's one name that comes to my mind, and of course, it's not the exact state and place to do it, but I'd mark out because I'm a huge fan of him. I'd like to see RVD make another return to the WWE. I know he said he has no problems with WWE, but at the same time, he wants to lay low from the wrestling business. But hey, he said if the money is there, he would take it, and I think that would be the perfect opportunity to give him one last Royal Rumble and maybe give a few 5-star frog splashes.
I was gonna say you gotta pry him out from between the legs of Katie Forbes. I know those two have been quite the item in public lately.
Lucky guy.
Have you seen this Katie Forbes?
There was one picture that surfaced online, actually on Facebook, about 2-3 months ago, and wow.
Yeah, she was in town recently for it was the debut of Tommy Dreamer's
the House of Hardcore.
House of Hardcore, thank you. God, I start thinking about Katie Forbes and I just lose all my brain cells. Don't tell my wife. She was part of that event. I don't think she was wrestling. I honestly don't remember exactly what she was all doing, but man, did she turn some heads. Holy cow. Yeah.
I know what I'm doing after this podcast.
He's going to go see who this Katie Forbes is. Google. He's going to go Google it. Google, yes. RVD, yeah, gosh, it's been a while since he's been. It's been a few years.
Just remember, Styles, though, where they announced today that the Royal Rumble is going to be next year.
Yeah, I just saw that on WWE.com, but I didn't look at the exact location. I just scrolled right by it like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, no. See, me, I woke up to that and jumped out of bed because of that, because I will be going to that event.
But it's going to be in Philadelphia, from what I believe.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
And the last time they had the Rumble in Philadelphia was Roman Reigns winning, and boy, was that crowd pissed.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh man,
that was what 2 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't last year. It was the year before.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so congrats on that coming to your town, guys. That's pretty awesome. Man, me personally, yeah, I also want to see Samoa Joe um either be part of the Royal Rumble or like we touched on the whole Kenny Omega thing. Um I would love to see him, if he's not part of the Rumble, show up and interfere maybe somehow in the John Cena AJ Styles match. I think that would be a great spot to show up, have some shenanigans, and cost one of them the match. For me personally, I don't care who it is. If it's he costs Cena the match, and then they start a whole reflection on how those two started up together in the industry, and then all of a sudden, boom, their paths cross again like 15 years later, or what, something like that. Or he screws AJ Styles. AJ Styles loses the title, and it starts a feud, because those two have crossed paths many times before, Styles and Samoa Joe. So, yeah, that's definitely a name I'd like to see.
Real quick before we move on, I forgot about it, but I wanted to say it now. Can we just please have Ty Dillinger come out at 10?
That is, I was just going to bring that up as another name that I would like to see in the Royal Rumble, whether it's his call up to the main roster, or I don't know. He's had some really tremendous matches over the course of this last year.
Yes, and he's he's really getting to the top echelon, of NXT. And I'm fine with him staying there, because let's be honest, NXT needs talent, especially if Samoa Joe comes up here. But I mean, it's just too perfect. You know what I mean? And bring him up here, bring him out at 10, give him a couple minutes, see how the crowd reacts to him. It would be a fun moment, and I hope that I really hope that happens. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, I'd love that too. Yeah, I mean, and he's been in NXT or / WWE developmental for a long time. Yeah. I mean, he was down there before it was what the hell was that? Florida Championship Wrestling.
FCW.
Yeah, yes. Baby. Yeah.
Might even have been there with OVW, if I remember right.
And that's a possibility too. I haven't kept track of him a lot, but I know, watching old FCW video here and there when I go check out something classic on YouTube or wherever, somewhere else, I have seen him down there. So yeah, I know he that dates back to the man.
Yeah, because he was in developmental. It was either OVW or FCW for a couple years. I don't know if he quit or he got fired or whatever. Then he was working indies for a couple years, and then he came back to NXT.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Either way, but
it was like 2008 or 2009. I think I remember seeing those videos from Florida Championship Wrestling. And what's funny about that is when you look at some of those before it became NXT and what it is today, God, there's like 10 people around the ring. There's like nobody there. It's so sad, because the amount of talent that actually wrestled down there, you think about, like the first feud of like Ambrose versus Rollins before they got called up. Man, some of those like half-hour long matches are just like ridiculous, and there's no one there to watch it.
Oh yeah, and there was a couple triple threats down there with Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose before they the Shield.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Crazy.
They never advertised anything. That was just all developmental, and I mean, it was on TV somewhere, but nobody really
down in Florida. Yeah, that's the only place it was broadcasted. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Crazy. Let's see. Any other? Gosh, I don't know. I can't think of. I mean, I think Nakamura's name has been brought up, but I don't think as significantly as Samoa Joe. I think Trips wants to keep Nakamura down in NXT and season him a little bit more, kind of similar to what he did with Finn Balor before he brought him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and same thing like I said before, NXT needs Nakamura right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that he does spend so much time down there, but it's also and this isn't a knock on Nakamura. His talent is there, but it's just everything surrounding being part of the roster. It's promos and just learning everything. It's not just go in there and put on a 5-star match. There's a lot more to it,
Exactly.
Yep.
So, all right, let's go into this card. A bit of a strange card. The card itself is pretty stacked with some okay matches. Some obviously are going to be, way better than others. What's interesting though is news came out this afternoon. Now this is besides the Royal Rumble match itself. There's 4 main card matches, and there's 3 pre-show matches. 3.
Well, they're starting it at 5 p.m. or something?
Yeah, something like that.
It's a 2-hour pre-show, yeah.
Oh, God. Ugh.
Oh, man.
And I know you do. It's and I've said this before on your show, JAYBONE. It's just I love wrestling. It's a big part of my household. It's a big part of my life. But God, I got a lot of things in my life. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
As good as this card is, to sit down from 5 p.m. until probably 11:15. Man, it's so much. It's just so much.
Yeah, 6 hours is a long time.
On Saturday night.
Between NXT and me personally, I'm gonna try to. I think they're on at the same time, unfortunately, but I think the Evolve show is on at the same time as the NXT San Antonio show.
Of course it is.
So I don't know how the hell I'm gonna pull that one off. I'll have one on the computer and one on the TV in the background. I don't know. I'm not. I'm a 40-some-year-old guy. I'm not very good at multitasking, so whatever. I'm going to be installing a new TV Sunday afternoon, so I'm probably not going to be watching any of this stuff live, unfortunately. I'm probably going to be watching it into the wee hours of the morning, and then put on a half-ass review at 4 a.m. with 3 pots of coffee dumping on my head. Who knows?
Yeah, because I'm up by 4 a.m. I promise you that.
So, okay. There's 2 women's matches in the Raw Tag Team Championship match, which is kind of a shame because I'm a big fan of the team of Gallows and Anderson. Not a big fan of Sheamus Cesaro. And I've talked about that at length as far as how those two had that big feud, and then they got thrown together into a tag team, and they click and then they don't click, and then they click and then they don't click, and it's just and I don't want to beat that dead horse to death again, but I personally don't see the championships changing hands, especially on a pre-show. You guys have any thoughts on this match?
Not really. Like you said, there's no need to turn any titles over. Not just yet. If anything, I would save a title change for either Fastlane or just wait until WrestleMania.
Maybe, yeah. And the feud could be completely changing from here to Mania. It could be a completely different team going up against Cesaro and Sheamus. Who knows?
I mean, Sheamus and Cesaro have been up against everybody right now, and it's just been crazy, with their title defense. Like almost every Raw, they're having title defenses here and there. I know I've been out of the loop with the show, but coming back into it, seeing what they're doing with these two guys, I'm high on them being singles competitors. It's weird seeing them as a cooperative tag team. Even though Sheamus has still got that heel-like attitude, he's there to support his tag team partner because they are tag team champions. Seeing these two together are like watching Daniel Bryan and Kane over again. I am the tag team champions type thing. That's exactly what they brought back, except with two Europeans.
It's a similar but different clash. Okay, I see that there. Harry, you got any thoughts on this?
I just feel like the club has kind of fallen into that Bray Wyatt spectrum where it's, they're popular and I think eventually they're going to get those belts. It's week in and week out. It's one of those things where I just feel like they're kind of coasting right now until Mania. I do think that the club is going to take the belts from Cesaro and Sheamus. I just don't think it's going to be on Sunday. I think it'll either be on a Raw or, like Styles said, on Fastlane, because I think long term, I think what we're looking at is the club versus Enzo and Cass at Mania. I just kind of think that's where the tag division is going. But as far as this match, I mean, it's going to be the exact same thing we've gotten on Raw the last weeks, where it is what it is, but the belts will stay on Cesaro and Sheamus.
Yeah. And it's just the tag division on Raw itself is in a whole new phase because we had, we had Big E and Woods and Kofi holding those belts for how many days was it? 400 whatever?
Yeah, it was like 440 something days, I believe.
Oh, it was ridiculous. But they beat Demolition's record, which I didn't understand why it had to be like that. So, they beat everybody God knows how many times over the course of that year and a half or whatever it was. And so you're trying to, because we were told for a year and a half that none of these teams are worth anything. Now we're in this phase like, oh, it's someone brand new and fresh has the tag team championships. Oh, now maybe someone else has a chance now finally. So it's the whole Raw tag division has that weird kind of restart feel, in my opinion.
No, it does. We're in the hangover of the New Day.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, it's just.
I think as fans, we kind of took it for granted how good the New Day was with those belts and what they did for those belts, and eventually everything has to end. And God knows they don't need the belts anymore; they're way past that. But I just to your point, I think we're kind of in that hangover from New Day. We're not used to this. It's like you said, we just kind of got to start over. I think once we get to Mania, or at least right around Mania, I think is when Enzo and Cass are going to get back into this. And once the belts go on them or the club, to be fair, I think that's when we'll start kind of getting a rejuvenation. But yeah, I this whole Cesaro Sheamus thing, to be honest, I liked it in the beginning. I thought what Mick Foley did in his part was phenomenal. But it's just I don't know. It's not hitting home the way it did for me. I'm kind of over it now,
Yeah, I hear you. So yeah, I mean the odds of the belts changing hands are pretty slim to none from what it sounds like is the general opinion on the show here. Let's see. Then the other matches are, and I'm not trying to poo-poo this, but it is pre-show stuff. There's no other title matches. The two women's matches are Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax, which I'm to the point where I'm watching this feud. Now, granted, I like Sasha Banks. I'm not a big fan of Nia Jax, but I'm to the point now where I just want to see Nia Jax absolutely destroy Sasha Banks. I don't know, that thought crept in my head when I was watching Raw a few nights ago. And that little spark has grown into a flame now. And I don't know if I'm really starting to like Nia Jax or just the fact that I want to watch her destroy Sasha Banks. I don't know if it's a little sick thing I've got wrong with me or what. What do you guys think about this?
Well, the thing is, you look at it, I always say this, you got to look at these on paper sometimes. You got, and I'm not trying to, be mean here, but you got 200-some-pound Nia Jax.
I know she's one of your favorites.
Oh, I'm going to try. I'm gonna try so hard. But you got 200-some pound Nia Jax against a soaking wet 105-pound Sasha Banks. Who's gonna win? It's like you put Braun Strowman against James Ellsworth. I don't know. I don't care. Everybody, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing it that Nia's really coming into her own and her character. No, she's not. She's not. She's just not. But I'm gonna keep it to myself, and I really don't care. I understand what you're saying, and I'd be fine with that. Just not a squash match, but just you got a girl that's almost 3 times the size of the other girl. What's gonna happen? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
You work a body part. Her knee's been screwed up. Work her knee. Pretend to break her knee. Something. I don't really care. But just end it. I don't know. I'll say as far as a prediction, I'll just say Nia Jax by some way. I really don't care. That's gonna be like a bathroom break match for me.
Yeah.
And I love Banks. I love Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah, I do too. But man, it seems like we're going through this phase of, oh, she has the title. Oh no, she's injured. Oh, she's got the title again. Oh no, she's injured again. It's like it's going back and forth, and now it's like I can't tell if she actually is injured,
right,
or if they're just going back on okay, well, she doesn't have the title.
It's a work.
It's
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's time to be injured again. Okay, all right.
I know. And the right thing. They had to get away from Sasha Charlotte. As good as those matches were, you can't do it forever. And she moved on. At least there's another feud going on. But I just you know how I feel. I can't get behind Nia Jax. I know. I think she's horrible. So I really don't care.
In a year, you're going to be having posters of her all over your wall. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a teenage schoolgirl.
Right. You're going to be like.
That's gonna take a lot of money for me to hang anything Nia Jackson anywhere in my house.
Styles, any thought of this?
Yeah, I'm completely with him on this one. Right now they're really working this whole injury thing with her. What was it? Her left knee, and I have the feeling that Nia Jax is going to actually utilize her limited moveset, which means she doesn't have one at all, and just work on that leg until Sasha Banks can no longer compete. I see it as being a squash match, honestly.
But Styles, that 2-inch high leg drop she does is devastating.
The leg drop of doom? Yeah. I mean, come on. Hulk Hogan can do a better drop right now than she can. And he's got a jacked up back.
Oh
yeah,
God!
I'm not a big fan of Nia Jax at all, and it's nothing against her. It's just that she has no charisma. She's a terrible heel. I mean, everything about her, what's that saying? She's the Rock cousin or whatever, and that's pretty much what got her into the business is the fact that she's Samoan. And it's nothing against the Samoan families. It's just the fact that she's got that tradition, and they're using that as, a catapult for her career, and hopefully it will skyrocket. But right now it's just taking a huge dive into the water, and there's no sudden impact whatsoever.
Yeah, I think they're looking at this like hoping that it would have the same momentum as, say, someone like Braun Strowman. And it just hasn't, because those two came up basically at the same time, and they've been slowly creeping up, about the same speed. But then all of a sudden, within the last couple months, Braun Strowman's really started taking off, and whereas Nia Jax just hasn't. So, I have absolutely no doubt that somewhere within the next year, we are going to see a significant change in Nia Jax. But till then, it is what it is, and I think we're going to get about a 5-minute match in the pre-show and max. So
if she wants to impress me, do a 450 splash off the top rope.
She can't do a leg drop. Oh God!
She's going to smash the boss's beak. All right. So
there goes her hairline.
yeah, and amongst other things. All right, what else is? Oh, we have now this match. I'm actually looking forward to, even though it is a pre-show generic tag match. 3-on-3 women's tag: Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch, and returning Naomi from injury versus Natalia, Alexa Bliss, and Mickie James. Now, I'm actually looking forward to that because, number one, I'm really excited about Mickie James being back on TV, back in the WWE in general. I think she is an absolute asset to the SmackDown women's roster, working with younger talent, helping them, helping Alexa Bliss because she's young, and yet Alexa Bliss has really come a long way in her very short time on the main roster. She's SmackDown Women's Champ. I think she's exuding in charisma. In-ring talent is still, I think like her charisma and her promos are slightly better than her in-ring talent, but that's only going to get better with time. And me personally, I know some people aren't fans of Nikki Bella and the whole Natalia thing, but the more and more that these two kick the snot out of each other, I'm actually digging it. And it's like I said, I think it's a little sick thing in my head, but I'm actually liking it. So to see these 3-on-3 match and returning Naomi, which I kind of feel bad for her because she's just, I think, kind of thrown in this kind of like a pity thing. But nonetheless, it's good to see her back. Good to see her healthy again. I'm actually kind of looking for, as far as like the 3 matches on the pre-show, I'm probably looking forward to this the most. What do you guys think?
I don't like six woman tag matches. I've gone in length about that before. I got to disagree. I mean, not disagree with you, but it's going to be a fun match. It bothers me that we're going to have the SmackDown Women's Champion on the pre-show in a tag match with nothing to do with her title. That I just don't like. But I look at titles differently than I probably should for my own sanity. But it is what it is. Mickie James coming back to the main roster, that'll be fun to watch. And I will agree with you with Natalia and Nikki Bella. The turn that Nikki Bella has done, and Brie, to be fair, from when they first came up here, is so underrated. It's unbelievable because you're talking about 2 girls that, basically got in there from the Divas search and were just 2 good-looking twins that couldn't wrestle. I mean, let's be fair. And I mean, now Nikki Bella, from her charisma to her, I mean, her promos are still what they are, but an in-ring everything, she's one of the top girls in that company, and she can go right up there with a lot of the other women that were top draws at their time, and I have a lot of respect for her. But anyway, as far as this match, like I said, it bothers me with the title, but that's just my own personal thing. I guess as far as a prediction, I'd say probably the baby faces win. So I guess that would be what, Nikki, Naomi, and who else?
Becky Lynch.
Naomi and Becky.
So I'll say they win. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have like a clear-cut winner on this. I think the match is going to be cool. And if it makes you feel any better about the SmackDown Women's Championship not being on the line, they did just have that steel cage match last week.
No, I know, and that was great. And they main evented, and it was a great match. It was the first ever cage match for this, but everything's going to be the first ever with the SmackDown Women's title. But
Yeah.
To me, I look at championships kind of like the old school way. The guys, you listen to stories from kind of the old school wrestlers and how they looked at titles when they were in the companies and things like that. And I kind of look at them as the same way as from a fan's perspective. And, I don't know. To be a Big Four pay-per-view and not have all the titles on the line, and that includes, because the SmackDown titles aren't even on the line. the Raw tag titles are on the pre-show, and the SmackDown Women's Championship's not even being defended. And I know it's hard with the brand split. You got how many titles now, but yeah, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. It's one of those things that kind of bothers me, but. Now, I understand what you're saying, and they have been doing great stuff. Her program with Becky, I've really enjoyed. But yeah, that's just me. I don't know. I gotta let it go.
No, I hear you. Styles, any thoughts on this? I know you're like the SmackDown guy.
All right, you're right. I am the SmackDown guy. I'm Team Blue. Yeah, this, just like Highspot said, 6 women tags. I mean, they can be fun to watch once in a while, but there's always what we call in the military a Charlie Foxtrot, or as you guys call it a cluster, whatever. So yeah, and of course this is going to favor the faces, and with it being a Rumble, who knows what's going to happen. And like you said, the women's title, the SmackDown Women's title, is not important for some reason at all. I would like to see Bliss defend that title sooner or later, but I think they're going to save her title defense for WrestleMania. No need to do it they might do it at Fastlane, but yeah, I really don't see anything good coming out of this match. If Mickey and Alexa, and who was the other one? Now I can't remember, but if they do the cheat to win.
Oh, Natalia,
yeah. If they, I can see them easily doing a cheat to win style type of victory, just to bury the faces for one night only. That would be spectacular as well, but nothing good is going to come out of this match whatsoever.
I hear you. Yeah, it is a pre-show match, and there's no titles on the line, so it's just just to put a little oomph on the feud itself between the baby faces and the heels. But yeah, it's not going to be Fastlane. It'll be the Elimination Chamber. I think that's
right.
The SmackDown pay-per-view, and I don't remember. I think that's. The Elimination Chamber is going to be in February. Fastlane is going to be in March. That's the one that's actually coming to my town. Still don't know if I'm going. I'm hoping, but we'll see. So that's it for the pre-show. We got some okay matches. Nothing of significance really happening here, though. All right, let's jump into the main card. And we'll start with the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match between the champion Rich Swann and the self-proclaimed king of the cruiserweights, Neville. I think this is definitely going to be a very fun match to watch. Neville has been really just kicking ass in the cruiserweight division. He should have been there a long time ago, and he is really he's put the exclamation point on all those bullet points that he's made as far as he should have been in there a long time ago. He's it's a matter of opinion that he's better than all of them, and it's only a matter of time before he has that championship belt around his waist, being in the cruiserweights on Raw, and also going to be running the show for 205 Live on the network. I personally think Neville is going to get the championship here. As much as I love Swann being the champ, I think it's good for Neville to at least hold this until Mania, and then maybe someone like someone who's like really starting to gain some steam and some popularity, someone either like Mustafa Ali possibly, or even someone bigger popularity like Jack Gallagher, get a match at Mania against Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. What do you guys think about this, or don't you care?
No, I can't say I'm fully invested in it yet, but that belt needs the belt needs Neville. in my opinion.
Yeah.
The cruiserweights aren't taking off the way they thought they were going to. That's obvious. Neville has that name value. Neville is doing probably the best work he's done at WWE since he's been there with his heel turn. And I just think the belt and the whole division needs Neville and needs Neville to be at the top of this. And I think he could be everything they thought Brian Kendrick was going to be. No offense to him. I just don't think Brian Kendrick has a name value in 2016 as is what they thought it would be. But if you, I just, end of the day, I think that belt and that the whole division needs Neville. So I think the belt's going to go on Neville, like you said, probably up until at least Mania.
Yeah, and I think as the days, months, and weeks go on, they're going to get a few more new faces in there. Like I know I didn't watch the last show, but I'm pretty sure not Okada. Oh my God! Wow, wrong brand, wrong company. Tozawa.
Fired.
Excuse me. I fired JAYBONE. Tozawa is supposed to be showing up soon. I can't wait for him to show up. He's certainly going to be turning some heads too for 205 Live in the cruiserweights. In fact, there's going to be a few more new faces. I think what's going on right now is there's some faces floating around NXT, and from what I heard about a certain conference call, there's going to be some roster switching around, some faces switching around from NXT to the cruiserweights to the UK division. So I think we're gonna see some fresh faces and some new rivalry soon, which is important to keep things fresh and exciting. Not too much, you don't want to just like throw a million new faces now that we're starting to get some established rivalries going on here in the cruiserweight division. But I think an influx of a few new faces will be a positive thing. We'll have to wait and see. What's next here? The Raw. Okay, here we go. Raw Women's Championship match. The champion Charlotte versus Bayley. Gosh, we saw Charlotte versus Sasha for such a long time, and now with trying to breathe a breath of fresh air into a new rivalry for Charlotte. As good as Bayley is, I really don't think she stands a chance for a while at getting this championship. It's just my personal opinion on this. I think Charlotte's going to keep that belt for a good long time, especially it being a pay-per-view defense as opposed to being Monday Night Raw defense, which she tends to lose once in a while. What do you guys think about this?
Well, I think, and I not to be one of those fans, but I said this since she debuted, but I did get the other opponent wrong. I thought it would be Sasha Banks. I think Bayley's going to win the title at Mania.
That I can see happening.
Yeah, and I still think that's going to happen. I just don't see it happening here at the Rumble. But like you said, look how long they did Sasha and Charlotte, and Bayley's my favorite women's wrestler right now in WWE. And she can have the same quality of matches as Sasha can. If you followed her at NXT like I did, you know that. And I just think kind of the story we're being told, and it started. Well, it really got heated with that exchange they had on Raw with the pictures and everything like that. I think that's just what we're going to keep going all the way up to Mania. We're just going to get. They're just keep trying to build sympathy around Bayley, which she's very easy to do that, the character. And Charlotte's great at being that heel.
She really is. I mean, she is really developed as a heel.
Unbelievable. And
yeah,
she's one of those people. It doesn't even matter as a female. She feels like a champion. She has that presence that you hear a lot of inside people talk about. I just love her work, but like I said, Bayley's still my number one. And yeah, I think we're gonna kind of keep rolling on this and just kind of take an easy track all the way up to Mania, and then I think Charlotte will have that big loss, her first pay-per-view loss at Mania, and Bayley will finally overcome, the bully of Charlotte. So I think Charlotte retains too.
Okay. Yeah, and I have absolutely no doubt that we're gonna, see this feud hang on probably till Mania. I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone else bounce back in, like either Sasha or possibly a new face, like I don't like, not to build up someone that I know that you're so fond of, but I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere over the next few months they try to build up Nia Jax in that same aspect as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? Styles, I know you don't watch Raw much, but you got an opinion on the Charlotte Bayley feud here?
Yeah, I can agree with Highspot Harry on this one. There's no need to have Bayley win the title just yet. Have her lose at the Rumble, and then they, Raw gets payback, right?
Raw gets Fastlane.
Fastlane, yeah, that's right. That's payback's way after that. There's just so many pay-per-views right now, and it's hard to keep up with them.
I know, it's crazy.
So okay, Raw gets Fastlane. She wants another shot. She gets another shot, and she ends up losing it. The next night on Raw, she cuts this promo, and it's going to be so heartfelt for the fans. And Charlotte gives into it, and she'll be like, "This is your last chance, and if you don't beat me, you'll never get a shot again." And then Bayley ends up saying, "I want this shot at WrestleMania." So give her 2 losses going for this gold, and at Mania, she finally succeeds. She gets her WrestleMania moment, and everyone goes home happy right there. But it's just not time to make her the champ yet. Just like Alexa Bliss, I'm high on on these talents, but when it comes to are they ready to be a champion? No, not yet. But they finally did it to Alexa Bliss, which I'm happy about, and it took more than 6 months to do it, but they succeeded in what I was, pinpointing out in my podcast. And to do this with Bayley, I think the wait will be worth it because you're pushing all the way to the grandest stage of it all.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm hoping that somewhere in the midst of all this, we also get a Sasha Bayley feud, and and they could put on the match that they put on down in NXT that absolutely burned down the house. And oh my God, what was that? London?
It was Takeover Brooklyn, I believe.
Yeah, was it Brooklyn?
I was there.
What's that?
I said it was Takeover Brooklyn, the first one, because I was there.
Oh, you were there? That's right, dude. That's awesome.
That's one of the few wrestling things I can tip my hat or hang my hat on, that I was in that building for that match. So yeah, it was Takeover, the first one in Brooklyn.
That's awesome, dude. That is a hell of a thing to say. You're right. Hey, I was at the return of the NWO to WWF. Anyways, let's continue.
Isn't that cool though? You know what I mean? No, I'm serious. As far as a fan, to just be like, you know what, I was in the building for that Sasha Bayley match. I was in the building when the NWO came back. It's cool. That's part of being a fan, man. It's just
yeah. It gets a cricket response now, but let me tell you, back then, yeah, that was damn cool. That was I remember it very distinctly. It was No Way Out, the last pay-per-view leading up to Mania. And when those 3 came out, there was, oh my God. Yeah, you could feel that electricity in the air and the hatred for these guys. I mean, I was excited, but it was one of those feelings like it was, you were cheering on the inside, but you were booing as a fan. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Like the guys you love to hate. Oh, let's see. Okay, so Charlotte versus Bailey. Now we get into some meat and potatoes matches, some matches that are going to be very important to Sunday night's show. Kevin Owens defending his Universal Championship in a no DQ match against Roman Reigns with the man with the list, Chris Jericho, dangling above the ring in a shark cage. Which it's very hard for me to say with a straight face. Now we saw this something very similar to this at one of the last big NXT shows. It was the
Authors of Pain and Ellering.
Yes, Authors of Pain. I almost said the Authority of Pain. Dear God. The Authors of Pain with Ellering dangling above the ring against, was it TM61?
It was either TM1 or DIY. I forget.
I think it was TM61 because DIY beat the Revival.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we're getting this, and I know it's a play set on your local, toy department of whatever local department store you shop at. But it's just kind of comical. Holy shit, Styles, are you okay? Are you starting your own Royal Rumble there?
Yes, I am, and I'm winning.
I'm not going to ask who you're defeating. All right. So there's so many different ways. I mean, obviously there's two ways that this could go, but it's because when you look at matches like this, Owens versus Reigns, you also try to look towards Mania like, okay, if Owens wins, and this is kind of what I see, there's so many different guys that could possibly win the Rumble this year. It's probably the hardest Rumble in the last, I'd say, 10 years that's hardest to predict a winner. Sometimes it's really, you know who's going to win, like a Daniel Bryan or a Batista or something like that. Those are pretty easy to predict. This one scenario I can see happening is Owens beats Reigns, where Reigns goes on from there. I really don't care. Maybe a match with Strowman or something. Owens wins and Zayn wins the Rumble. And those two end up reigniting their feud and they headline Mania. Or have one of the headlining matches at Mania if it's not the headlining match. That, like, for example, that's one thing I would love to see. And I've heard several other people mention it in social media as well. If Reigns wins, which I don't know if there's too many people that actually want to see that. I know there are a few. I do like Reigns, don't get me wrong. I just don't want to see him with the Universal Championship.
I don't either.
If Reigns wins, then maybe someone we right. The Reigns Riot, Reigns Royal Rumble Riot. Say that 10 times really fast. Reigns wins, and someone like The Undertaker wins the Rumble, and those two go on the headline. Something like that.
Oh God. Oh no!
Don't punish us like that.
I'm just saying. I've heard that scenario too.
Think about that match.
What's that?
Think about that match.
I see positives and I see pros and cons with that match.
God, I see nothing but negatives. No way. Ugh. Undertaker at 50-some years old, the way he works now, and Reigns being Reigns, oh God, no. Oh.
I mean, it takes Undertaker 20 minutes to get to the ring, and that's bad enough.
No. I'm not poo-pooing on what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. I just haven't heard that scenario. But
Yeah.
God, no, God, no.
Okay. All right.
Please,
Well,
no.
just okay. So, me personally, I want to see Owens hang on to this and then go on to face someone. It's you know it's hard. It's so hard to tell who could possibly win this one. You guys go back and forth. Let me know who. First of all, who do you think is going to win this one, and maybe a possible scenario leading up to Mania. What do you guys think? And then we'll jump into the SmackDown end of things as far as that championship match.
Unfortunately, I just think we're back to. I think Roman Reigns is back to being Roman Reigns. I've talked about it before, how I feel about him. I don't hate the guy. I don't think he's horrible. I don't think he can't wrestle. All that garbage people say. I don't like him. I'm just not a fan of him. I'm kind of indifferent.
He's not your cup of tea, and that's fine.
No, and he at the same time, I get why he's getting the push that he is. But that's like I said, I've gone into that before, but I think
he's The Rock's cousin. Damn it.
So is Nia Jax, but anyway.
No, kinky. Continue.
Yeah, it's amazing. Those Samoans must fuck like rabbits. I don't know, but
right.
I just think we're back to after the whole piss test that he failed, and then they kind of made him. He got how many pinfall losses? Excuse me. Right after that, and they gave him the U.S. title, which was a huge flop. He's still. I think he's still. Well, I know he's still high, in the company, and that they want to push him to the moon. And I think this is the story that we're gonna put the belt back on Reigns. Unfortunately. And as far as where we go after that, I think it's inevitable that we're going to get Jericho and Owens at Mania. That being said, and it's, going back to what you said about this whole thing with, the match. I mean, come on, it's 2017. Can we not go back to 1984 and put somebody in a shark cage? It's seriously, it's a different time. And I'm great. I'm fine with wrestling being silly at times and things like that. That's what wrestling's all about. But I just, who cares? Who cares about the shark cage thing? But I'm a huge Kevin Owens fan. I have been for a long time. The way that they've done this title reign with him, I just think it's done him no favors. The crowd reaction is a lot less than it used to be. It's just not working, and it's not any fault to him. I just think the whole thing they did with him and Jericho.
It's been more of a comedy than about the title.
Right. And don't get me wrong, they're hilarious together. I love them and Jericho together. But as far as credibility in that title and the endings to his matches, it's not what I would have hoped for. But like I said, I just think that the belt will go back on Reigns, unfortunately. I think they'll kind of put this maybe second or third to last, because I don't think they'll end with Reigns winning a title, because God knows what happens when that happens. And, I just think from here till Mania, we're going to start seeing, something unfold between him and Jericho, and him and Jericho are going to fight at Mania for the U.S. title. And then Owens will finally win that, and Jericho will go off to do some Fozzy stuff. So that's where I think we're headed with this.
Okay. Styles, what do you think, dude?
Unpredictable.
It's a tough one.
Hopefully, when it comes to Reigns, I don't want to see another belt on him ever again.
Well, I hate to bring the bearer of bad news, but you're not going to be happy.
Prepare for disappointment in 3, 2, 1. Isn't he champion again too?
Well, I'm just saying, even if he loses on Sunday, because I'm with you, but that boy's going to have a lot of belts around his waist in the next couple of years. Trust me.
Yeah, he's like the new Triple H or the new Rock or new somebody of the WWE. Like, I don't know whose persona he's taken, but I mean, there was that meme that we saw how many years ago with Triple H with every damn title on him, and it was a great Photoshop. But actually, I'm just kidding. It was terrible. But I don't want to see Roman Reigns carrying any more titles. There's no need for it. The crowd hates the guy, except for the kids. I don't hate the guy, but I'm just not a big fan of him. When he was in the Shield, it was great because he barely talked. You know, he had one word to say, and then after that, it was basically, we have nothing else to say, and they walk off. So it made him a complete badass. But as soon as the Shield split and you had this guy trying to cut promos, that's when I lost faith in the guy. You know,
They were overdoing it with him.
They are, and they're pushing this guy to the moon. They're treating him like he's the new John Cena, or the new Rock, or the new Steve Austin. They're trying to make him something he's not, and it's not working. And I hate to be that kind of guy that criticizes, but at the same time, this is what the WWE needs to hear, because if you don't hear it from us, the crowd, they're going to think, well, everything's fine with Roman. Nothing's wrong with him at all. We just don't understand why he's getting booed so much. So, if anything, I'd turn him heel soon. That you already got the crowd hating him. You might as well just have him turn on whoever. I don't care what kind of match it is. I don't care if it's a pay-per-view, Raw, SmackDown. Put him wherever you want. You could put him in a house show and he could turn on somebody. But I honestly wouldn't care at the same time.
Hey, maybe part of the heel turn, that everybody apparently wants from Roman that would, make them like to hate him then would be like if he, drops the cage out of the sky on top of Owens, and that's part of the, the no DQ win. And he, and then we have like 3 weeks till the next pay-per-view of Chris Jericho crying over the, crypt of Kevin Owens or something. I don't know. I'm reaching here. I'm sorry. So yeah,
a shark cage. Come on.
Oh gosh. So yeah, I mean this could go a couple different ways as far as leading from here until Mania. This is tough. This is really tough to see where it's going. But that's not a bad thing, because whenever the WWE is not predictable is usually when it's like, oh, hey, they're booking it good if we can't see everything that's going to happen. You know what I mean? So
yep.
Now let's go into the other championship match that's going to headline the Rumble besides the Rumble. The WWE Championship match, we've got the champ that runs the camp, AJ Styles versus John Cena. Man, what? Before I just attempt to pick a winner here, which this one isn't much easier than the last one we were just discussing, I want to get your opinion on something. And I was getting a couple different. I was listening to a couple different opinions on this over the last couple days leading up to this show. One very interesting one was the Taz show. I don't know if either of you guys check out the Taz show here and there.
No, I don't.
I listen to it every day, JAYBONE.
Okay, so then you know where I'm going with this.
Yep.
Taz's opinion on how John Cena's promo went against AJ Styles on SmackDown was really different from what I think a lot of fans expected. It wasn't the typical, okay, AJ Styles is the heel, John Cena is going to have his rebuttal now, and you're going to cheer him. Now, granted, there were some people cheering John Cena because that's what we're supposed to do with John Cena is cheer him because he's the babyface. Except the promo he cut, I think, shocked a lot of people. And it's hard to talk about this because it's almost one of those uncomfortable things like, oh, did he just do that? I mean, and I hate bringing up this term because it's brought up so much over the course of the last decade. And it's also at the same time one of those things where they say it's never going to happen. Is this, I'm just going to say it, do you think this is possibly part of a heel turn from that we're seeing from John Cena because of from that promo was so uncomfortably odd coming from his mouth towards AJ, and AJ's reaction after that was just dumbfounded. What do you guys think about this?
Well, I'm going to use a word that is way overused in the wrestling community, and 95% of the time it is not right. But John Cena buried AJ Styles on Monday, or on Tuesday, excuse me. The promo was one thing, but what he did on the Today Show or Good Morning America, whatever the hell it was, he buried it. He buried AJ. He buried AJ Styles.
That was ugly. Whether it was supposed to be funny or not.
It made no sense. And I listened to Taz's show today, and I totally agree with him. One, they never even brought up that the title's on the line, at least from the clip they showed.
Yeah.
Two, you put AJ Styles, who arguably is the best, one of if not the best wrestler in the world right now. You put him as a guy from Atlanta who is facing John Cena, and I'm just John Cena. I want to do my John Cena thing, and this guy from Atlanta is going to go away. WWE, you hear it all the time, wants to be mainstream. They want to be entertainment. They want to be, on Sports Center, all these other things. You had an opportunity to show non-wrestling fans on Good Morning America AJ Styles. You had an opportunity to put AJ Styles' name and face to I can't even imagine the number of people that don't even know who he is. But yet you just let John. I don't know if this was the company. I don't know if this was John. And I know obviously wrestling's a work. You know what? I don't know if maybe there's some heat between John and AJ, real heat, because that promo was uncomfortable. But what he did on Good Morning America or whatever the show was not right. It was not right. And even if he was if he was a heel, that's one thing. But even as a heel, you don't even bring up the title that's on the line, and you don't even bring up who you're facing. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, what are we doing here?
I would compare it to like when they have like the Miz, and the Miz does a lot of TV and he does a lot of promo work outside of the WWE on different talk shows. He is the one guy I could compare this to, and even he does come off snarky, he does come off sarcastic. But at the same time, it's like, he's a bad guy. But he doesn't do it so that he's like, yeah, this is the show coming up, and I'm the guy that everybody hates. And he does it in a respectable way. If he's the champ, he's like, I'm defending it against this guy. And he does it in a way that, oh, okay, it puts over the whole company. Yeah. John Cena said his shtick, whatever, and then had that evil, cheesy ass grin and was looking dead in the camera the entire time. It was like so not John Cena. It was almost uncomfortable what he did on that Today Show. Styles, what do you think about all this, dude?
I don't know what to think of this at all, to be honest. I mean, when I listen to this promo, I'm thinking to myself, like you just said, that was not John Cena. That was more like Vince McMahon and his hate for Indies talent. Because if you heard him, he said he wasn't made for the indies. He was made for the WWE. And I'm thinking to myself, that was a slap in the face of the independent circuit. And if John Cena were to work in the independent scene, he would know he would not survive because people would fucking walk circles all around him doing what they do best. The fact that the morning show said that guy from Atlanta, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This is why I can't watch WWE much anymore because, yeah, work or not, that right there was completely uncalled for, and that caught a lot of buzz. And I'm sure WWE is eating this up right now if they were listening. They're like, oh, well, we got the attention of everyone. You know, on top of that, look where AJ Styles was put at on the Royal Rumble poster in the far back. Your WWE champion is in the far back. Is that how you're supposed to treat a world heavyweight champion? Hell no. You should put him right up. If you're going to put him behind someone, at least put him behind the guy who's going to be beaten here this coming Sunday. Because I'm telling you, I don't want to see Cena win this at all. And the fact that Cena said the only reason you're holding that title is because I'm allowing you to, no. So there's heat, man.
Well, it's also the fact that this whole time between his feud ongoing, offgoing, and now they're, revisiting it again, obviously for the Royal Rumble. But the fact that John Cena keeps repeating the same thing, saying that my time is now. He doesn't have to say that. That's so not him. It doesn't make any sense. That's something, because there's new faces, there's new blood in the WWE. The faces that are representing the WWE right now, no matter what show you watch, it's changed so much over the course of the last year, 2 years, 3 years, where you've got 75, 80% of the roster that you're watching on TV has come up from developmental at one point or another. There's not many guys left on that roster that you could say, we're on the pay-per-view or on the TV show X amount of years ago, It's just, the whole thing is just so weird. And I can see something now more than ever just from how John Cena's talking to AJ Styles. And it's not just that, like I said, I'm going to say it again. It's how AJ reacted to the promo.
Yeah, but you heard what Taz said. That's probably how AJ was told to react to that promo, and I believe that.
Oh yeah, and that I get that. But I'm saying is what the outcome of this is what makes you put the biggest question mark on it. Where is this going?
Yeah.
Are we gonna see a happy-go-lucky John Cena again? Or is this gonna escalate to where he gets nastier, shittier, and snarkier, and
Can we see a double turn?
I totally see what you're saying. Both of you are saying. I just a long time ago gave up on the whole John Cena heel turn. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. Especially this late in his career. But like you said, it does not make sense. It's black and white what he did. It's not stupid. Vince isn't stupid.
Yeah.
They made that promo look the way it did for a reason. I just don't understand what the reason is because John Cena's the babyface. He's the one that's supposed to be getting cheered. And I'm sorry, if John Cena wins on Sunday, you hear the reactions every time AJ comes out. AJ's the most over guy on SmackDown right now. By far. And if you have John Cena beat him, what do you think's going to happen to Cena? Because Cena's reactions over the last year or two have changed a lot. And I focus on crowd reactions. Yeah, he still gets the Cena sucks, Cena, let's go Cena thing. But compared to a couple years ago, a lot of people respect Cena. And they understand what he is, and they understand what he is what he does with the company.
Yeah.
You just have him go out on Sunday after what he did this week and beat Styles clean, you wipe that away. And I guarantee when he comes out on SmackDown next week, the Cena sucks chance, you're not even going to hear the Let's Go Cena chance anymore because they're going to be that loud.
It's all going to depend on A, who wins the match, and B, the psychology of how the match goes down is going to tell the entire story.
Absolutely.
It's not just whether if Cena wins, that's one thing. It's how Cena wins, or it could be, I could be wrong. It could be how AJ wins. It's going to be is going to tell the whole story of how it's supposed to be. And it's just, oh man, it's going to be the match of the night, I think. And we might see some shenanigans.
Yeah.
We could see a Samoa Joe interference and not in the Rumble. I think we could see something like that. It's hard to tell.
Oh yeah, and they've put on great matches before, and they're going to do it again. It's just, we're here to talk about this and to put a prediction out there. I'll put mine out there, and this is, I really don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way, dude. I don't know if I can. For the once, it's like it's really hard to be like, yeah, you could pick one for shits and giggles, but it's like,
and a part of that's cool,
Yeah.
But I think inevitably, I can't say I know, but I think almost definitely John Cena is going to beat Ric Flair's record. He's too close. There's no, and they talk about it way too much. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm going to say it's the wrong decision in my opinion, but I think Cena does take the title on Sunday.
Okay.
So that I'm not saying I want it because I don't. I'm just what the story I'm being told, what I'm kind of seeing unfold. I do think Cena takes the title on Sunday. So
yeah,
go from there.
Yeah, there's something brewing. Styles, what do you think, dude?
Dude, I don't want to see AJ lose the strap. I'll put it that way. If there's interference, like like y'all said, Samoa Joe not being in the Rumble but showing up at the Rumble, I think that right there would be huge. That'd be a dirty finish for Cena, and then Cena would have to explain what just happened, and that could possibly lead to his heel turn. But just like Highspot said, it's too late. It's 10 years too late for John Cena to turn on the WWE and the WWE universe that still exists. But AJ being champ, being as over as he is, there is no reason to take that title off of him. But if they do take it off of him, he can reclaim that match at either Fastlane or even, like I said with Bayley, do it at WrestleMania. But this time, AJ comes back as a face, just for the fact that he's over with the crowd. There's, with the club being split up and everything, there's no chance of the club reuniting anytime soon. And I mean, it just makes perfect sense to just have AJ get over with the crowd one more time because, I mean, look at it. When he turned heel, who did he turn heel on? He turned right on Cena. Now it's time for Cena to return that favor. But this time it's going to be a crowd hating Cena just as much, as they have before. This is going to be worse than X-Pac heat.
Yeah, X-Pac heat. Oh, man. Yeah, man, this is God. This I know I'm just gonna pick one, and all right. I'm gonna say I don't like it, but I think Cena does win this. Man, we'll have to see. I'm not gonna put in any exclamation point on shenanigans. I'm just saying I think there's a good chance we could see something. So we'll see. Now to wrap this up, I don't want this to go too much longer, but the last thing we're going to talk about, of course, and we touched a little bit on it already, is the Royal Rumble match itself. Now, obviously, like we said, we know there's no Kenny Omega. That's off the table. We touched on Kurt Angle a little bit. I think it's a possibility. He could have been working the whole TMZ audience / internet wrestling community, whatever, saying that he's not going to be there. He's not going to be part of it. I could totally, see him saying that and then show up and then just, brush it off his shoulder and be like, and not make a big deal out of it. But, just to, swerve the crowd a little bit. This one is also so hard to predict because there's so many big names in this. And there's only like 8 names left that are question marks. So I think we're going to see a few classic faces. Like, there's a rumor that Eugene is going to show up possibly.
Oh, God.
Well, there's video of him out there throwing people over a top rope at his wrestling school someplace. That's the only reason why his name is getting thrown around out there. You could see someone like, I think the Boogeyman is still under Legends contract. He could come out. Sometimes you see a face like the Godfather sometimes comes out. I know Shawn Michaels' name is also getting thrown out there that he could be a possible name to, I mean, he showed up.
He's retired.
It's not going to happen. It's just not.
That's the biggest pipe dream.
I know that's. I'm just saying because I know it started with his name getting tossed around the hat, getting thrown in a match against
Styles.
Styles. Thank you. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the picture in my head, and I can't spit out the name. We got so we talked about it so much, I didn't want to say it again. No, there's Goldberg's in this, Taker's in this. I know the odds-on favorite, I think right now, because Omega's name is off the table and Kurt Angle said he's not going to be there, is Taker, which I'm okay with it. It just depends on how everything gets booked from there on, whether it's like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Let's see that match against Cena or whatever,
Yeah.
Lesnar's in it. And I've also heard people say that none of the big names that ended Monday Night Raw, Lesnar, Taker, and Goldberg, yeah, they're all significant names in this, but none of them are winning this.
Right. I have been, and I mean this, and it's so cool as a fan that I can do this because they've done it perfectly. I spent all day yesterday and all day today thinking about who I think will win this. And
Is this what you were hinting at me earlier?
I said it earlier that I think I might have figured it out. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to let Styles go first, then me, and it's your show. I'll let you finish who you think it's going to be. But I think I have a bold prediction to put out there. So,
all right,
James Ellsworth.
Oh my God!
Oh,
I cancel a network.
Nah, that's not the spoiler alert. All right, so I'm going to go first on this.
10 people just unsubscribed. No,
yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh, bitch.
But not, we saw Mojo Rawley win a spot in the Rumble. I don't see him getting it, and of course you said earlier, High Spot, about Ty Dillinger possibly being the number 10. But I don't see him. If he does make it in the Rumble, I don't see him in there. We should have 10 SmackDown, 10 Raw. We should have 5 NXT guys and then 5 surprise entrants. The 5 surprise entrants won't win the Rumble because, like I said, they're surprises for a reason.
They're there for a pop and hey, we haven't seen him in a while. Fill in the blank.
Yeah, this, I'm going to be honest, I've been reading the dirt sheets and a lot of sites are saying this is going to be the most unpredictable because we don't know who's going to get it. Well, it won't be Roman Reigns this year because he's already got a match. So, and he's already going to get booed out the arena anyway.
But see, that's the thing. Even when someone loses the match before the Rumble, say just a quick give an example. Like I already heard, like it's okay. Say Cena loses to AJ Styles earlier on in the night. Who's to say Cena doesn't show up in the Royal Rumble and win?
Oh God, dude, that would just that would kill. That would be his heel turn.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how unpredictable this is.
That would be his turn.
Yeah.
But
who's to say that doesn't happen to both those matches? Whoever loses comes back. That's the craziest shit about this.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of swerves and turns that we're going to see happen, this Sunday. But the Royal Rumble is going to have to step up its game because the night before is TakeOver San Antonio. So we're going to see, a 5-star show right there. And the Rumble is going to have to find a way to amp it up, how to make it better than, the night before. So they're going to have to pull something out of their hat, right out of their ass and be like, this is who's going to win the Rumble. We're going to have the crowd either cheer or boo. It's really not going to it won't matter who we have, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to have someone go out there, win, and take on a Mania. But it's got to be someone big. It's got to be someone really big. And I know Taker wants it, but yeah, I'm really undecided.
You don't have a pick?
This is the first Rumble where I don't have a pick. But if I could pick anybody, ooh, crap. Well, not the New Day. Yeah, like I said, this is really tough this year.
Isn't that cool, though?
What was that?
Isn't that cool, though? That we're
Yeah.
this. You know what I mean? This is the kind of stuff, and I don't mean to take, I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is the kind of stuff that makes me remember why I'm such a big wrestling fan. You know what I mean? Because like JAYBONE knows this, and you'll figure this out after getting to know me. My wife is a big wrestling fan too, and we've been talking about this all week. Like she'll text me during the day and just be like, "I heard this. What do you think?" It's just so cool to go into a Rumble match. Like JAYBONE said earlier, this is the first match in a long time that everybody is going into this like, man, I don't know. I just don't know, and that's so cool. I just think that's so cool. And I cannot wait Sunday night.
Yeah, there's obviously fans out there that are like, oh, Goldberg's in it, he's winning. Oh, Lesnar's in it, he's so winning. Oh, Taker announced it. This was me. When Taker threw his hat in the ring, I was like, oh, that's it. It's done. It's over. I had that feeling for like a solid, almost a week. Like, okay, that's it. Taker's got it. Hands down. I don't care who you throw in. Bring back Eddie Guerrero from the dead. Nope, Taker still got it. It's like...
Well, I think Styles signed off, so at least that's what I just got. But thanks for being on here, buddy.
Hey, it was an honor, and I'm going to remain undecided for the evening.
Okay.
So y'all have a great night, and I'll be happy to talk about the Royal Rumble whenever you guys want to talk about it.
All right, man. Well, it was good talking to you. Make sure I followed you on Twitter earlier. Make sure you follow me back so we can talk on Sunday about everything we talked about today and go from there. All right, man?
Awesome. Most definitely will, man. Y'all take it easy.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
You too, man. Thanks for being on with on Smash This podcast. The grand return that it was.
It was. All right, JAYBONE. This is your show. I'm going to let you finish it. But now I'm finally going to let this out because about it. Okay, here we go.
All right, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
You got Goldberg. You got Lesnar. You got Taker. Those are the three people that everybody's looking at this and saying those are the favorites. Those are the ones that one of those three is going to win this, right? They're on the front of the poster, all this, all that. Okay, first of all, Goldberg or Lesnar is not going to win. I think you will agree. I would think you would agree with me. They're destined for WrestleMania. So something's going to happen. Goldberg and Lesnar are out of this. Excuse me.
They'll wipe each other out somehow.
Right. Something's going to happen, and then they're going to have the blow off at Mania. Undertaker's in this thing. Now, I was with you. I thought as soon as Taker put his hat in this thing, which I never expected, excuse me, obviously Taker's going to win this. He's not going to win this because what's going to happen is Finn Balor is going to come back as the Demon, and the Demon is somehow going to do something to Undertaker, and he's going to eliminate the Undertaker, and we are going to have Finn Balor, the Demon, versus the Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. Because I'm sorry, Undertaker versus Braun Strowman is not the match, not yet, because Strowman's too green. Now, we go from there. You look at all the different stories that are in this Royal Rumble, which is incredible. You have the Sami Zayn stuff, you have all this other stuff from all these other, from SmackDown, from Raw, everything like that.
Okay.
Said, no, but like you said, nobody's gonna see who wins this match coming. So it's not gonna be a returning name. It's not gonna be, James Ellsworth. It's not gonna be anything like that. What's going to happen is it's going to get down to the final four. The final four, I can't say what the other two are going to be, but it's going to be Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt as two of them. It's going to come down to either 3 or 2, and those both are still going to be in the ring. And Randy Orton is somehow going to win the Royal Rumble for Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt is going to win the Royal Rumble and go on to finally get his title shot and finally become a main event star that he should be at WrestleMania, because SmackDown needs another big name. It needs more main eventers on that brand. And Bray Wyatt versus either John Cena, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, wherever you want to go at WrestleMania is going to be the match that is going to put Bray Wyatt on the map. And I am the first one to say that WWE has been teasing us about Bray Wyatt for years now, and that he should be a main eventer, and they just kind of keep, plugging away, and then they'll give him a tag title, and then they kind of take it away. But you follow this story on SmackDown with what's going on with the Wyatt family, what he did to Luke Harper this week. Everybody's expecting Randy Orton to turn on Bray Wyatt. Eventually, that's going to happen. I see the Royal Rumble ending. Like I said, somehow Randy Orton is going to help Bray Wyatt win the Royal Rumble. Bray Wyatt is going to go on to WrestleMania, and he's going to become a main event star, or at least elevate himself to be a main event star and possibly win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. That's what nobody sees coming. And tell me you saw that somewhere else, because you didn't.
I did see somewhere some article, and I couldn't tell you where it was. It might have been ringsidenews.com or something. Someone threw it out there that Randy Orton might possibly win the Royal Rumble, and it somehow leads to Bray Wyatt. I don't remember the scenario, so I apologize. But it somehow goes to Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt going for the championship match and headlining Mania. How it goes about getting to that point, I don't know. All I remember is that they said that Randy Orton was going to win the Royal Rumble, which is different from what you said, but it's still in the same, family. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I understand what you're saying, but Randy Orton at this point in his career is not going to win a Royal Rumble. I just can't see it happening. And if you want to shock somebody, nobody thinks Bray Wyatt's going to win this thing, and he's in it. Nobody thinks Bray Wyatt has a chance because he never wins anything. You and I have had this conversation.
Yeah.
And everybody's expecting Randy Orton to turn on Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt made it kind of clear on Tuesday night on SmackDown that he trusts Randy Orton more than Luke Harper because Randy Orton's better, or whatever the story that they're telling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of weird because everybody's kind of like at each other, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Right.
Who's going to end up get the one-ups on this, but it's a hot mess.
Right. So you have Randy Orton go in this where everybody's expecting. Imagine if it comes down to Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. What's going to happen? Well, Randy Orton's going to win. He's going to turn on Bray Wyatt. He's going to eliminate him. What if Randy Orton looks at Bray Wyatt, gets down on his knees, whatever, and then goes over to the rope and eliminates himself? Because Bray Wyatt has gotten into his head that bad, and that he looks at him as almost like a god, and that he has to let him win. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen, because Undertaker's not winning this thing. He's just not. I can see why everybody's saying that he's the dark horse, not even the dark horse, but the favorite.
Yeah.
Undertaker needs a match at Mania. Strowman's not that answer, not yet. And I like Strowman, but Strowman's not there yet. You put Undertaker in a match with Finn Balor, let Finn Balor do 75% of the work, and they're going to have a great match. Either way, whoever wins. And Finn Balor versus The Undertaker, the Demon versus Dead, that sells itself. Does it not?
No, and I've heard that before as far as like, Finn Balor versus Taker. It's just I keep hearing things about Balor's not going to come back until at least March. I don't know if he's ready to come back. I don't want to get too if he shows up, great. If he's ready, great. It's just one of those things where you've heard so many times over the last several months that Balor's injury was worse than everybody expected it to be. And he's had a couple different surgeries on it. He hasn't had just one.
Right.
So, I'd hate for him to pull a Cena and come back, 5 months ahead of schedule. And he's even said that in interviews, saying, I'm not rushing this. I'm coming back when I'm ready, which is the best thing you can hear out of someone's mouth. It's like, okay, yeah, granted, they want to come back. They want to get that paycheck. They want to get that pop from the fans. It's all understandable from a wrestler's standpoint. But you're hoping that, one of these guys, one of these days, uses their head and doesn't come back until they're absolutely ready and doesn't put the fast forward button on it like Cena has a million times, and you're just cringing like, oh my God. like Seth, like every time Seth is in the ring now, you're afraid Rollins is going to get injured. It's like, it's
no, but and Finn might not be back, and I could be totally wrong here. And if I'm totally wrong, I'm cool with it because like I said before, as unpredictable as this match is what makes it great, and what makes it fun for me as a pro wrestling fan to watch. It's just you got to look at where we're going to Mania. You got to look at where these storylines are headed. And I just think that's where we're going. I can just see this story unfolding at the very end while all the other stories unfold during the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my pick. And I could be completely wrong, and Luke Harper could come in at number 11 and eliminate Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, and there goes my theory. But that's my bold prediction. I think.
What about Eric Rowan?
Well, that's very true.
Get all 4 members of the Wyatt family staring each other down at the end of the Rumble.
Yeah, or Eric Rowan returns and eliminates Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. I could be totally wrong here.
Yeah,
it's just like I said. This is what I think might happen. Might be a pipe dream. I could be totally wrong. I predict Bray Wyatt, but I want to hear who you think is gonna end Royal Rumble on Sunday, pointing at that WrestleMania sign. Who do you think it's going to be? Because I'm very intrigued to hear everybody's point of view on this because it's so intriguing.
Oh, damn. It's so, like I said, man, this is so hard. And I've been, watching videos, looking at everyone else's opinion, trying to see, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. That kind of makes sense. And trying to work something out in my head. And I'm like, I'm still scratching my head, dude. At this point, I'd say we got a damn good 50-50 chance at a CM Punk return. That's how much I don't know. It's like
and to be honest, I thought about that. No, I understand because I thought about that and Triple H saying, nobody's going to see this coming. I thought about that, and another thing I thought about. Imagine if Daniel Bryan's music hits at like 28.
Yeah. I mean, I got a feeling Shane's going to be a part of this too. He's going to throw himself in there.
He might be, but I'm just saying, imagine, because you know how bad Daniel Bryan wants another match. And just imagine if, the tables turned or whatever, and the doctors say, you know, you got another one in you, and Daniel Bryan's music hits at like 20 something, he wins this Rumble. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
That would throw the whole wrestling universe on its head. You know,
Well, and I agree. It's just I've heard so many negative things as far as what's actually wrong with Daniel Bryan beyond all the known stuff.
oh, I know. I
It's
totally agree. And I'm just, you know,
it'd be like it's basically you'd have almost a better rate of seeing someone like Edge come back because they both got the same issues.
I totally agree.
You know?
Saying, you know, like I said, what Triple H said, that nobody's going to see this coming. You know, it's just those are the things that are popping in my head. Like you said, CM Punk kind of jokingly, but imagine that, man. A person getting at 28. Holy shit! I mean,
yeah. I think I'm going to put this one to bed and not to upset or disappoint anyone. I'm going to go into this with a clear head. I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm gonna leave the question mark where it is, right at the top of the pile, and I can't wait to see who wins it. And it's probably gonna be one of the I'm assuming it's gonna be one of the best Rumbles that I've seen in a long time. Because, man, I watched a bunch of the '90s ones over the course of this last week, even the one where Flair won. And some of them are so comical, some of them are so stupid, but. This one I'm just going to have fun with, just not knowing, you know?
Okay. I don't know, man. It's going to oh, God, I can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be a hell of a thing to watch. I got a couple people coming over, a couple friends that are wrestling fans, and we got a game we're going to play, and it's going to be something. It's going to be something to see no matter what happens, I think, so.
There's a good chance I'm not going to be watching it live because I'm getting a new 55-inch TV that night. I don't know exactly what time it's getting here and or hooked up, but I'm going to be watching it sometime that night. I just don't know when.
Right.
So, but nonetheless, this is going to be an absolute blast of a pay-per-view. The whole weekend's going to be great, from the Evolve shows to NXT. The TakeOver San Antonio down to the Royal Rumble, all the way to the main event. Man, it's going to be a lot of fun just because we just don't know, you know. And they're dropping all these hints, and so many of them are like, yeah, could be.
Yep.
So, dude, to wrap this up, thanks again for Styles for being on as long as he was. I know this was a bit long-winded, especially for a comeback show for Smash This Podcast. Harry, I want to thank you so much for being on with me. You're one of my good buddies in this podcast game, and I'm very excited to be back and to be doing this. I was nervous about doing this because this whole week, a couple weeks coming out of my surgery and everything has been little nerve-wracking. So this has been the one thing that, has kept my chin up, keep me looking up. So
yeah, definitely. And it's crazy. You and I never met face to face, but I consider you a good friend, and I feel like crap. I told you that earlier. I'm really sick, but just everything you went through with your surgery, and we're friends on our personal Facebooks, and things like that. It's just anything I can ever do for you, I'm there for you, and I love you having me on, and I help you whenever I can.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad to see you back and in better spirits and everything like that. So thank you so much for having me on, and I'm here for you, buddy.
Oh yeah, it's greatly appreciated. Onward and upward, and my future's a giant question mark, but this is the one thing I do that keeps a smile on my face, and hopefully keeps a smile on everyone else's face, whether the opinions are the same or different, whatever, doesn't matter. Hope you appreciate the show and the discussion, and if you like it, give it a like. If you like it enough to share it, go ahead, share it, give it a sub, whatever. It's greatly appreciated. So till later this weekend. Not sure exactly when I'm going to be talking more about the Evolve shows, probably sometime next week when I have time. Excuse me. But we'll be doing a review of the Rumble. Oh, man. Somewhere earlier in the week. You're not going to give a day or time because I just don't know when, because I don't even know if I'm going to be watching it live or not that much. So, but I will be watching it, and we will be discussing it very soon. Thank you all for tuning in. And for this guy over here, Mr. Highspot Harry, I'm JAYBONE, and we'll see you down the line. Thanks for watching and listening.